All right, so I wanted to say in the beginning that we always had some episodes of Dominate in 2v2. So in the
Hmm.
past we had Rapha the Hang, then we had VengeuR Raisy for like
Yeah.
online cups and stuff, and then you've kind of dominated the scene for last
Hmm.
like I would say half a year with series. And now we had like some little switch because you lost to Rapha Maxter lately. Do you think that that the way they overcome you lately is gonna stay like this, or do you have any ideas to come back with it?
I mean, it's hard to say
Hmm.
because last time that we like fought them, the games were close, but also
Hmm.
um, like a good thing to think about is that Rafa and Max, they are the team that played the most and that still
Hmm.
are playing the most,
Hmm.
and they probably have more practice sessions than most teams combined.
Yep.
So they are expected to be strong,
Hmm.
but it's like considering how close the games still are for them.
Hmm.
Um, I think we can definitely beat them.
Hmm.
It's just I think the last time that we played them within the final, we could have won the first set within
Hmm.
the final because I'm pretty sure um, on the third map Awoken we were leading at the end,
Hmm.
but then Sirius sort of went a bit more passive,
All right.
and then we lost the rail control, and then they got the power up, and then we lost the game.
Yeah, I kind of remember it. You were guys coming from loser bracket, and before, right? Am I right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's
correct.
the tournament we're talking about. And I was thinking after the game you lost to them in winner bracket, I was like, okay, probably it's gonna be very stable for Rafa Maxter now. They kind of find a way how to beat you guys,
Yeah.
and then you came back like from loser bracket, and then you started the final, and you guys played much better. So I was
Mhm,
like, okay, that's great because like maybe you kind of adjusted to the game because
mhm,
before like few months ago I was afraid like I knew you're gonna be very extremely strong team, but I was afraid that when Rafa gonna come to Europe, they eventually gonna find a way to beat you, and then I was afraid that it's gonna be very stable, like
yeah.
advantage over you guys. But
Mhm,
that final kind of gave me the hope that you're still gonna try to switch things up and stuff. Because I in general I had the feeling that they got much more room to improve than you guys,
mhm.
and that was my way of thinking.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with the way they sort of practice is like they make mistakes and then they fix the mistakes when they practice. But
Mhm.
then, m- like most of the other teams, they
Mhm.
sort of practice before the cups to get in shape or
Yeah.
to be ready to play.
Yep.
But Rafa and Maxter, they sort of can play so much, or
Mhm.
they want to play so much. So
Mhm.
then they fix the issues or the mistakes that they
Mhm.
have. Also, I'm pretty sure for the first time that we fought them within the KeenCon,
Mhm.
um, in the first final in the upper bracket, Sirius sort of lost his focus a bit,
Yeah.
and then it kind of snowballed from there because I'm pretty sure on the first map it was close, but then
Mhm.
on the second map, I think we played like 2 minutes or 3 minutes or something
Yeah.
um, before we called it.
Mhm. It.
S-
Yeah. Go ahead.
so I mean, the thing with series is that you don't always know what kind of series you
Yeah.
will get
Yeah.
on each
Yeah.
day.
Yeah. I understand
Um,
that. It's. I will jump back to serious subject soon, but I
mhm,
understand what you're talking about with him. It's like he has some really good sides of him, but I think because in your duo, you are kind of the guy who's leading the game. I think you speak more, you
Mm.
are kind of more calm, and you are like leading the game. So it's like up to you to handle serious. But if you manage to handle serious, like his mental game, I think then when you are both kind of becoming unstoppable.
Yeah.
So also going back, jumping back to Rafa Maxer, I think they kind of way of practicing is like they take it more long term than other teams because
Yeah.
they kind of practicing everything. Even it seems like even if some map is not in the map pool, they will try to like sometimes play it, or like when we practice, for example, me and Kilson, we just like go map by map, and we go like 6 7 maps, and we finish the practice. They kind of playing like BO3s, BO5s, like
Yeah.
same story with Rafa in 1v1. Like I also like he was practicing like it's tournament, and they doing exactly the same with Maxter now.
Hmm.
And also about you guys, I think, as you said about the amount of practice, you don't really practice as much. I would say you practice very little, and you're starting only last week before the tournament. But it also can be like some kind of mentally chilling stage, because I think the more you play Quake, the more exhausted you are, and then when you got a player who is extremely like talented, like mechanic wise, like serious or close, for example, I think that the way Rafa practicing will never work for those players like serious or close, because they're gonna get burned out. They are relying a lot about their mechanical skills and game sense, and I think the more they play, they kind of get more tired, making more mistakes. What do you think about that?
Yeah. I mean, like, I mean, the most common thing
Mhm,
when like a player has, like super good aim, super high mechanical skill,
mhm,
they tend to, lack, um, like perhaps not basics,
mhm,
but they sort of lack deeper theory about the game
mhm, mhm.
because they are like so used to sort of just shooting and then winning,
Mhm. Mhm.
and then they don't really need to go deeper,
Mhm.
which is like fine because you can win by just shooting. Like
Mhm.
we have seen that before.
Yeah.
So um, so you know the main thing that I try to do playing with Sirius is sort of making the fights so fair to him as possible by just
Yeah.
sort of like for me to sort of take items,
You.
focus on timing to then let Sirius either have more more stack or similar stack because he will
Mhm.
like most of the time
You.
win those fights.
I also realize you kind of giving him angle to shoot because you are kind
Yeah,
of creating the space on item. Like I explained it with ins sometimes how I see it. For example, on a Woken, if there is mega coming up, I will never see serious kind of rush from LG banana way, and he will more often stay like on lower ground on nail gun or T area and keep like hitting from distance while you are creating space and creating mess at that time
yeah,
against two opponents, and it usually works out for you.
yeah. It's just because I mean that's sort of the thing I sort of have to do, or maybe not have to do, but it sort of makes the game very like simple
Mhm.
because for me to sort of rush between items, it's sort of the way that I prefer to play the game.
Mhm.
Like focusing a lot on controlling the map,
Yeah.
whereas like Sirius tends to play slower, you know,
Mhm.
take the angles and then punish
Yeah,
the
I
opponent.
exactly understand what you're talking about because I think it's very similar with me and Kilsen. I really like to focus on items, but Kilsen kind of wants to play like he played in 1v1. The thing
Yeah,
is like he cannot be the best playing the same way as he played in 1v1 in 2v2 because there is like too much like factors of like unexpected plays because it's like four
yeah,
players on the map, like anything can happen. The game doesn't have the greatest sounds, so it's like another like randomness factor, and on top of that he's not gonna deal as much damage as Sirius plays. So for example, when we play against you, I know that we need to do completely something different because if we're gonna kind of play the same way, we're gonna end up losing because we're not gonna make as much damage as you guys gonna do.
Mm.
But yeah, another thing. Often I see, like, for example, you guys play a tournament and then like serious like mid tournament when you guys losing, he kind of gets upset and then he turns off the stream, and then after that you guys manage to play better. So it seems like mental state is very important for him. So I
Yeah.
think when he's like mentally healthy, then it's the time where you can guys like both overcome like best teams. Do you think that can be the factor? Like, do you think it's easier or it's harder to handle that on LAN? Because in some cases, I would say that people who have like mental issues with nerfs and stuff, they handle it better on LAN because like they kind of feel more ashamed to like give up on LAN and
Yeah.
they like keep playing. So do you think it's gonna work in favor of you or like in disfavor?
Um, I mean, the way that I see it is usually the more Quake serious plays, the
Mhm,
more focused he tends to be um, when he is playing.
mhm,
And also, like when like I've seen Sirius perform before on lands, he
mhm.
tends to be very like focused
Mhm.
and not tilt as
Yeah,
much,
yeah.
or like at least you can't really see it.
Yeah, I think
Um,
so. I think the same. I think he does good online considering like his like online performance. It's like not maybe his results are not outstanding, but his mental game is like there always on land.
yeah,
So he's not gonna
yeah,
give up or anything like this or turn off and or leave or something. Because at some point you guys wanted to give up in some tournament, right? Probably he got pissed or something.
yeah,
But he never gonna do that on LAN, I think.
yeah. It was like the last tournament, Sirius sort of said he was basically done playing, and
Hmm.
I messaged Maxter and told him,
Hmm. Hmm.
and we were like done. But then I think it was like I don't know, like 30 minutes later, Sirius told me he could play.
Yeah, he
So
calmed down
we
and yeah,
decided to play again,
yeah,
and
that's great.
then we still got second. So
Yeah.
like it's not bad.
Okay, what I also think about like you and against Maxter Rafa, it's as I said, we got some similarities with me and Kilsen, and I think like because they are so focused on item playing, I think Rafa will never let you skip going to an item. He will push you as hard as he can that both of you gonna fight on the same item. Sometimes when I play against them with Kilsen, it feels like we are too slow, and then like we're losing few items, they get in some frags, and then somehow it snowball and it's kind of hard to stop. It's like, do you think that's the main factor why they managed to beat you last two times, that they are so focused on items, or there is like some other factors like, I don't know, what else?
I mean, it's hard to say. Like, I think, considering how close the last set was, I'm pretty sure we should have, won it.
Hmm.
I mean, like, uh, the way I'm gonna phrase it is basically, if like me and Sirius had, I don't know, like a few more practice sessions, I'm pretty sure we
Hmm.
should have won the first set. But
Hmm.
then the second set, I don't know,
All right.
because the only reason that we lost was because of like nerves. I'm pretty sure,
Hmm.
or something. Because we had like I don't know, like I think it was like a 2 kill lead,
Hmm.
and I'm pretty sure we needed 2 kills to win the game,
Hmm.
and they needed like 4 kills.
Hmm.
And like the thing was like Rapha and Maxter kept rushing us
Yeah.
every single time.
Yeah.
But then Sirius became more passive, and then we ended up losing because of that. But
Yeah.
like I'm pretty sure we should have won um, if we had, I don't know, like a bit more practice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Do you guys want to
but
ramp up your practice before King on LAN, or like it's hard to like set up practice for
um,
you, or how do you see that?
I'm pretty sure. Like I don't think we need that much practice, but like we
Hmm.
need to be at least consistently playing the game.
Hmm.
Um, like like that is usually the most important stuff, and then also to practice the maps more, because
Mhm.
like right now we don't even like know what the best maps are for us
Yeah,
before we start the tournament, because
yeah,
we sort of start picking within the tournament, and then the maps that we win on during the tournament we sort of keep picking.
yeah, yeah.
But I mean, we will most likely start practicing more before the LAN, but it's still quite
Mhm.
far away. I mean,
Okay, and what do you think, like, what's your take on communication, like, in a team? Because you both, relatively speaking, very good English, like, compared to other, like, no, non-native speakers from Quake. But I got the feeling sometimes that communication counts really only in certain moments. For example, when there is, like, very tight game and it's like two
yeah,
frags left and you
yeah, yeah.
actually need to make a decision
Hmm.
and both of you need to follow that, and in between it's just like very like standard comms, like timings, like your positions, enemy positions, what we do with power up or after power up, and that's it. It seems like
Yeah.
Quake is kind of easy compared to other team modes. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the time you don't need to sort of say exactly what you are doing at all times.
Hmm.
Um, but it depends on sort of how you are like as a player. It's like,
Hmm.
for me, I tend to sort of, try to, look at what Sirius does, because sometimes
Hmm.
Sirius will be, fighting and then will not say something. But
Hmm.
you know, I try to, get him to talk more, to sort of, at least, tell me when he is fighting.
Hmm.
But it's sort of like, the way you say is like, you don't need to have super like complicated comps.
Hmm.
Um, as long as you sort of focus on the same thing before the game, because
Yeah,
the thing like with me and Sirius, we sort of know how we like want to play,
yeah.
and like because we are not always like rushing items,
Hmm.
it's sort of fine, because we don't need to have
Yeah,
comms for everything. It's like
yeah,
sometimes we say passive,
yeah,
sometimes, oh, give up the item, but like it doesn't need to be deeper than that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And you can still overcome it in Quake Champions. Like basically, one railgun shot is denying the big
Yeah.
item anyway. Do you think your like way of communicating is comes from like you playing a lot of other games? Because I know you played a lot of CS, right,
Yeah.
etc. Do you think it comes from there? Because I know, for example,
um
players like Ron, they also communicate very well. They are super calm and they playing a lot of multiple games.
Yeah, I mean, I would say so, probably. It's just like, because I have played so many, like, team games,
Mhm.
uh, like CS, Overwatch, and sort of those games. Like, so it's like, especially, like, you need to sort of, be able to, talk while you are
Mhm.
fighting sometimes.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah,
And, like, that is, probably the thing
that's most difficult,
that's
I think,
most,
for Quakers. Yeah.
yeah, because they are usually like so focused to hit their shots
Yeah,
that
that
they like
they
like
kind of
physically
freeze.
cannot
They kind of
speak.
freeze.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Um, and I mean, sometimes you might hit less because you are talking,
yeah.
but sometimes saying something can also help you like win the game. So it depends like on the moment. But I mean, for me, it definitely helped to play multiple games, I think.
Hmm.
Um, it's like in more ways than just comps.
Yeah.
But
Did you
yeah,
ever play any 2v2 with some Swedish player like Tox or Sparty, or you
um,
never played that?
I I practiced with Tox once
Hmm.
or twice before the Nations Cup,
Yeah.
and we did like super well, because
Okay.
because pretty much the players that I have played twos with,
Hmm.
they have all had super good aim,
Yeah.
super good mechanics.
Yeah.
So, for me, I just sort of need to do the same thing pretty much every single time I play,
Hmm.
because they all have like super good mechanics.
Yeah. And,
Um,
and I think Tox speaks much more when he speaks Swedish than English, right?
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, when I played with Tox had like super good comms.
Yeah.
They were like clear. They were like focused. Tox was timing items. There was like,
Yeah.
you
That's
know,
different Tox.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every teammate he has, he's playing different style. I love to watch him playing with Cooler and with Hron, and it's always super fun to watch him.
Yeah. Um, I did play with Sparty a bit for the Nations Cup,
Hmm.
and Sparty has good comms. It's just for Sparty to be good, Sparty has to play a lot.
Yeah, yeah,
And we did not have a lot of time to practice beforehand because Sparty was like working
yeah. Hmm.
all day, every day.
Yeah.
So we practiced like once or twice before, and then we still got like third or fourth, I think.
Okay, that's good. Yeah,
So we did
yeah.
okay
What the,
considering.
yeah, what do you think about Dramis and RMV team? Do you think that they still gonna improve more? Because like I think they are shining the most out of like all teams except you and Rafa Maxter now.
Yeah, they're definitely a really solid team. I'm
Hmm.
pretty sure the only team that they have lost to have been us so far because they have not played Rapha and Maxter, I don't think.
Hmm. I
Or
don't reckon that either. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they have not lost to them at all. If they have played, but I'm pretty sure they have not really played.
Hmm.
Um,
I think they even beat them at some point, but that was the time when Rafa was still in an A, maybe.
yeah, for the first King Con, they reached the final, and then we actually beat them, and then they had to forfeit the rest
Hmm.
because someone had to work, I think. So
Hmm.
then Rafa and Maxter reached the final,
Ah,
and
yeah,
then we
yeah,
ended up
exactly.
beating them. And then like on the second time, Rafa and Maxter was not playing or something,
Hmm. Hmm.
or they lost early. I'm not sure.
I
And
think they
then
didn't even participate in some of the King
yeah,
Cons.
it's possible. And then like on the third one, Railed was not playing.
Yeah,
And then at the last one, they ended up not facing each other.
yeah,
It
yeah,
Yeah, it's because like I'm pretty sure Rafa or Railed tends to have the highest seeds,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so they don't usually end up like fighting each other.
All right. Yeah, I'm pretty curious because like they seem to really step up their game, and I think Ins was speaking with them at some of the Sunday streams for KingCon, and he asked them like how they gonna feel on land because it really feels like with their like servers and like dramis high ping, it's super hard to find some fair server. And I remember we played them last time and like as soon as we started the game, I already felt there's no way we're gonna beat them because like there was such a mess on the server basically because four of us having different
Yeah,
pings and connections, and they are pretty aware of that. They said that they know that sometimes the high ping can give them advantage. So I think that's the already good sign for a team because you got some teams, for example, I watch Yop like few streams of Yap and he's
yeah,
always arguing with his chat that he gonna always hit more on LAN and then you check his stacks online and he already hitting like 70-80% rail. So he's not kinda aware of like that on LAN.
yeah,
Sometimes when you got low ping, you actually need a fucking microscope to hit the rail because
yeah,
nothing is connecting. So I think
yeah,
that's good for them that they're realizing that and it might like help them.
yeah. I mean, like the fact that also you know they play so fast and they hit so hard. So sort of like the way to beat them is like you need to get the items to be able
Yeah.
to win.
Yeah.
Um, and like it's sort of similar to how to face Maestro like
Yeah.
VengeuR and Raisy
Yeah. Yeah.
because we actually played them in the third final, I
Hmm.
think it was,
Yeah.
and then like for the last map, I had like I don't know like nearly 30 major items,
Yeah.
and we
That's
still
insane.
nearly lost. Like we had like I think it was one frag only,
Hmm. Hmm.
and because they just hit rail after rail after rail after rail.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like you need the stack advantage to have a chance at winning. And also, I mean, for me to have serious like on my team and then still get like railed so many times and still be so
Yeah.
close at
Yeah.
losing is like you really need to get the items to like have to have like a good chance against like some teams because they just deal so much damage.
Yeah, and they don't let you breathe. They constantly try to fight you,
Yeah,
so you don't have time to recover even and take some
yeah,
lights or anything. Yeah,
yeah. Because
crazy.
you have weapons and then you die and then you want to go and grab some weapons and then you get railed twice
Yeah, yeah, and you're stopped
and then
basically.
they get the item as well and then like it's like as soon as you die you lose so much,
Yeah.
and they're also like so good at just staying alive and like never dying.
Hmm.
So like it's gonna be cool to see because uh, because m- most teams they have their own style of playing.
Hmm. If you're looking at like me and Kilson, for example, playing 2v2, what would be your advice? Like when you're looking at it from like turn point of view, like what the biggest issues do you see in our team, for example?
Uh, like I I think a lot of time you guys are picking weird champions when you can play the best champions in the game.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's like you need to be ready, to play strong, to play slash, like to play the fast champs, to
Yeah.
play like anarchy and stuff, because like you two have like super good mechanics,
Hmm.
and you both are like super good duo players.
Hmm.
So it's like you just need to be like on the same page,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I think that is like the biggest thing,
I
and
think
like
so too. I think
yeah.
just our idea of playing 2v2 is kind of different, and it also shows up with champs that like both champs are not working really well together on a map,
Mm,
etc. We also like struggling against Clutch, and we have different opinion, completely different opinion how to play against Clutch, because I believe that the game against Clutch becomes easy if you don't feed the Clutch and you kind of starve him with items. Because if you let Clutch get items in 2v2, it's basically he's becoming unstoppable, and you're
yeah.
kind of feeding all the time. And Kilsen thinks otherwise, so it's like I rather ban Clutch because I think we're never gonna win against Clutch if we got two different kind of
Mhm.
ideas about how to
Yeah.
play against Clutch. So yeah. What do you think about Bukster Garpy? Don't you have impression that they playing very good ABC games? So they're going for items like it's heavy, it's mega, it's quad, etc., etc. But they are kind of playing. You got some players who seem to play perfect, but they are too standard. Like they are too
Yeah.
easy to read because they always gonna be on that item and always gonna rush the other item, like both of them. It's like, what do you think? What will be your
Yeah.
advice to them?
I think it's like one thing about them is like they sort of tend to play the same champions only.
Hmm.
They play Galena a lot, and they play like they tend to play slow medium champs.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then Garpy, plays something faster sometimes, like
yeah,
Anarchy
yeah.
or Strog. But like I think for me, they are sort of playing it. It's like they have good timing
Hmm.
and they have good basics, but
Hmm.
like they might be lacking this sort of clutch factor to sort of do
Something
like
extra. Yeah.
super good plays and then like deal out massive amounts of damage to get the power up, or
Hmm.
to like turn a game around, because I think they're sort of sometimes playing I don't know, like too basic maybe, like,
Hmm.
or they are might be like feeding too much sometimes, or maybe sometimes playing
Hmm.
too slow. It's just like it's super hard for me to say because I have not watched them too much,
Yeah, yeah, I understand.
but they could be like super good, but it's just I'm not really sure like what they're doing
Okay,
wrong, because like
okay.
technically the only thing you need is you need the power ups and then you need the
Yeah,
items.
yeah. Power-ups are super important in 2v2. I
Yeah,
realize sometimes you can do so much good things between power-up, then lose the power-up, and it's basically, they
yeah,
driving away from you.
yeah.
What's your take on like pre-power-up game? Do you think it's better to, for example, like after second items, like at 1 minute mark, to already get your like ability ready, set up on an item, and take your opponents? I think in your team it should work well because you're gonna hit a lot like before the enemy counts, but
Yeah,
then you kind of can become low and they can re-rush from spawn,
yeah, yeah.
or it's like
It's sort of
no standards for you, you
yeah.
just go by feeling.
It's like for me, like it depends a lot on what map it is
Yeah,
to how you want to like set up for it
yeah,
because like for some maps you need to be there early,
yeah,
and then for other maps you can sort of arrive late.
yeah. Like Molten
Um,
is very odd with it, I think, especially
yeah,
if someone comes from like, because there is so much verticality that if
yeah,
someone coming from like shotgun and you got one guy on banana on first floor, then you are kind of like lost and you don't know
yeah.
what to do and
It's
how
just
to aim.
like there is so many like paths,
Yeah,
and like it sort of depends on basically. It's like you need to catch them.
before they
Uh,
enter the
yeah,
room. Yeah.
because like it, he's like it's so sort of hard to
Mhm.
cover all angles, and
Yeah,
then you need to sort of know where they are coming from before they come,
yeah,
and then you get the item basically, or like you get the power up.
yeah,
But like it depends a lot on the map, and then like how you want to set up, because like it's like some fights can be so close, and like
yeah,
such
yeah,
small things
yeah,
that can change who gets it, and then who gets it. Some like some maps you need to get a power up, but then some maps you can hide,
yeah,
and you can like hide so well, and then the power ups, they don't matter as much. But
yeah,
then on some maps, you lose a power up and you lose like 10 kills, 5 kills sometimes, and then you lose control, and then maybe you lose like 5 more
yeah,
kills, and then
yeah.
like suddenly you have like such a hill to climb to
Yeah,
even
even
get even.
look, sometimes even it's better, for example, to give up on protection. Let's say
Yeah,
you are very low
yeah,
and you still want to fight for it, but you are losing to frags because you're both dying. But
yeah.
if you skip it and then you play really well after power up, there is big possibility that they're not gonna make more than two frags even on you.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just sometimes we call to not fight for
yeah,
like a power up,
yeah.
but
Do
it
not fit. Yeah.
depends on what power up it is. Like usually quad you want to get
Hmm.
always, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but
definitely.
it depends a lot like on the maps.
Hmm.
Because sometimes you rush in and you die early, but then you spawn rockets, and then you have rockets, and then you just come in and then you just kill them all, right? Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like it can be hard to know what is the right play,
yeah,
because it
yeah.
depends on so many factors.
Yeah, I think there is no right play. You need like
Yeah,
good game
it's
sense
just
and situation wise.
yeah, it's just you sort of need to go based on feeling a lot,
Yeah, yeah,
and that's sort of like where you need to have played enough to be in shape to sort of make the right decision at the moment, because
hmm,
like some things you cannot practice, but you sort of just need to have a good feeling for like what to
yeah.
do.
I think this is what is it about in like Quake, in Quake team modes. It's like much more of a game sense than compared to like CS or Overwatch, where
Yeah.
you kind of know what you're gonna do beforehand and
Hmm.
then adjust eventually like based on the situation. And what do you think about the last patch where they nerfed like SSG? Do you think it impacted your team like a lot, or like
um
it didn't matter?
uh it's like, well, there were a few times I pulled out the shotgun when like I had quad, and then it's
Yeah,
just like you do less damage with quad shotgun than if you just use machine gun.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's hard to
It
get used
just
to it.
yeah. So it's just like I'm pretty sure the way it was before, the shotgun was super super strong,
Mhm.
but it's like the shotgun needs also to be strong, because now there's like very very little reason to use it, because
Yeah.
so many weapons are so strong in Quake. Like I mean, especially within this game in Quake Champions, like
Mhm.
nail gun can completely destroy someone, tri-bolt can destroy someone, pretty
Yeah.
much every single gun can like do insane damage, and then you have shotgun. Like now on close range you can do more damage, but like it's so hard that like you need to be like in their face, and like even then you can like miss to
Yeah.
do 10 damage, instead of like if you use rockets you will never do that little damage.
Yeah. Exactly.
And
That's a good.
considering like how high damage you can do with every single other gun, the shotgun
Mhm.
needs to be strong.
Yeah, yeah. I think they will eventually buff it again,
Yeah,
but I just don't see a point in like nerfing and buffing a gun like repeatedly. It's like I don't understand it, but it's not
yeah,
part of my job. So
yeah. It's like for me, the way the shotgun was before the patch that made it like super strong, the shotgun felt fine, but like there were moments where it was on the first KeenCon, like um, I had quad and shotgun, and then
mhm,
I pushed, and then I see the pellet go through Rafa, but
yeah,
it did no damage.
yeah,
And like I aimed straight at him, and it did no damage.
yeah,
And then I ended up dying. So it's like it's always a bit weird because it's sort of hard to make it be consistent
mhm,
because it's always sort of either too strong or too weak, or the shotgun is like not really consistent enough.
yeah, yeah. It's hard to
Yeah,
balance it actually. Yeah.
yeah. Like I noticed like on the last patch when the shotgun was like super strong, and then we ended up facing Yup,
Yeah.
and they have super good aim.
Yeah.
So there was one time I ended up pushing them. I had like I don't know like 250 stack, and like
Mhm.
I feel like I'm winning the fight because I just have like so much stack, and then I run in, and then I die to two shotgun blasts, and like I don't even know how
Yeah.
I died.
Yeah.
So it's like people that have like super good aim, they will completely destroy you with it. So like I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know honestly.
Yeah. What do you think? Like, do you prefer to play 2v2 over 1v1 in Quake Champions? If KingCon, for example, gonna make another season in the league, do you prefer them to stick to 2v2 or switch to 1v1? Do you think we have enough players for like 2v2? Because I think we do, but the problem is like some of them are not playing because they are too, I don't know, they don't want to team up with certain people, so we don't see like Tox playing, for example. He cannot really find a teammate, or
Yeah.
like Cooler, or like some people who have big potential to like increase the interest in the game of the
Mhm.
viewers.
Um, I do think we have enough players. It's just like I think some players they don't want to like commit to playing Quake every single month for
Hmm.
pretty much the entire year
Yeah,
just to go to a single LAN.
yeah,
Because I mean, it's like like same thing for me because it's like for me to sign up I don't know like 4 months ago like or whatever it's like I was not sure that I wanted to even play
yeah,
because it's just like it's such a long time.
yeah, yeah.
I think that is like one thing, but I think currently right now I probably do prefer 2v2 over
Hmm.
duel, but the reason for that is because I don't really like a lot of the maps in duel
Hmm.
because everyone knows how to play them so well, and then you have line of sight spawns on so many of the maps, and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
you get like a small lead, and suddenly it's like it's so hard to come back just because everyone has played the same maps
yeah.
for so long that like there is like you can't really surprise someone
Yeah, but I see you
without
still
doing something
playing
crazy.
like some S30 1v1 caps.
Yeah.
Do you feel like 1v1 helping you at some point to play really good into V2? To
Um.
focus more on items and like to not feed and like you're not kinda, because sometimes like when you play too much to V2, you're kinda more freely moving around the map and you are not
Mhm.
as as a there's not enough caution in your like game.
I mean, for me to play duel makes me like to be more focused when I play the
Yeah,
game
yeah,
because you need to be focused, and then to not play for like weeks, and then you have to like play twos, and then like you will like have like a hard time timing, and then there's a power up and you don't even know it, and then it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
so like playing some duel can sort of get
Keeps you in
me
shape. Yeah,
into like shape. And
yeah.
also I mean for me I do like duel. It's just
Okay, yeah.
some maps I never want to play ever again in Duel,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
uh, I like Duel. It's just I think new maps, could be
Will
fun,
help. Yeah.
or
Yeah.
to remove like bad maps or like what I think are bad maps. So
Yeah.
it's like
Anyway,
it's hard to say.
yeah, I'm asking this to everyone I'm speaking lately. Like, what is your take on like new Quake? Do you think they are working on new Quake, or like everything we hear is are just rumors? Or
Um, I don't think they're working like on a new Quake, or well, I think if they are working on a new Quake, it's not for the esports. It's not like for the multiplayer, like necessarily,
hmm
because like I don't think it's sort of like worth for
hmm
someone to invest in Quake expecting to earn money.
hmm
But I mean, uh, there could be a new game, but I wouldn't expect it. But like, I would be happy if there was something new.
Gotcha.
Uh, but yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to see someone make a new game.
hmm Yeah, yeah. I the only thing is like what I think is Quake is kind of too big of a name to just like completely drop it and let it die,
Mhm.
because it's like one of the games which created esport in the beginning with CS and other games.
Yeah,
So I think it would be really, really not clever to just completely let it die. So I think that's my only reason why I think at some
yeah,
point we'll get some new Quake. We have to.
yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure Quake could make a comeback, but it's like pretty much every single sort of successful game these days, you need to have a casual player base.
Yeah, yeah,
Because if you have a casual player base, there will be a competitive player base.
exactly.
That is pretty much like every single big game, like Fortnite, Apex, whatever. Like they might not have the most sort of how do you say, like the hardest competitive
Mhm.
game, or like
Skill
it's
gap.
like
Yeah,
it's not that deep sort of.
yeah,
But there is so many players, like hundreds of thousands playing the game every single day, and then because of that, the esports becomes massive.
yeah.
And like the people behind the games, they don't need to even focus like on the esports, because the esports takes care
By its own.
by
Yeah,
just having like so many players. And
yeah.
then there's like so many like orgs, or so many like people that want to like organize big events. So
hmm
like it just comes like naturally if you have a super successful game.
Yeah,
But like you can't go the other way around, I don't think. Like you can't just sort of like take a game and say like this game, it will be the biggest like
hmm
competitive game.
yeah.
But because
It's like
without the casual player base, it doesn't work.
yeah, I think that was the one of the main mistakes for Quake Champions to start with the sport and like say, okay, we got $1 million tournament, and then after that, you always want to improve in your life. It's like it's the way of the how humans like to like live, and then you only decrease from that point of view. I don't think that was the way to go, like starting really big and then decreasing. I think that's what kind of killed the sport for Quake.
Yeah.
But anyway, Keltz, was really interesting for me to speak with you about 2v2 because I think you are very interesting 2v2 player and the way you lead the game and it's super interesting for me to watch because like I look really deep into the 2v2 games and I always try to analyze like what can be done better, etc. So that was a pleasure for me to speak with you and I thank you
Yeah.
for your time.
Yeah. I was happy to be here.
Okay, I'm glad. I'm glad to hear that and I hope you guys gonna practice more. And I hope we're
Yeah.
gonna practice more too. That will be
Yeah.
good. Anyway, thank
Probably.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.